Hi friends, this is another one of my Africa memory videos. This is a very special one because this was my first opportunity to take a team to Uganda, Africa. And the team consists of the people you see here. And this was very special because two of the members of this team wound up doing many years worth of work in Uganda, and basically this team changed their lives. So it really changed all of our lives. So here is the first Africa team trip 2007, and I believe it was around October. Here we go. We left San Francisco on September 17th, 2007, and we flew to Chicago and then took a KLM flight to Amsterdam and then went on to Entebbe, Uganda. We stayed at a place called the Sports View Hotel, and it was actually out of town, a little bit on the edge of town, right by the Nelson Mandela Stadium, which is actually one of the biggest stadiums in East Africa. It's a soccer stadium. It's huge, and it's all made out of concrete. Anyway, we stayed just down the street from that. Here's some of the views from the hotel. It's kind of funny, we didn't get very many pictures. Here we were, 5 people taking pictures, and none of us took very many pictures of our hotel. It was somewhat forgettable. At that time, this is actually what it looks like now, but at that time it was very small, and but it was comfortable and it did the job. So nothing really bad to say about it. It was an okay hotel. After spending a day just looking around town and the team getting to know our guide and driver, my good friend Charles, we went to meet some of the key people that would be helping the ladies put on the women's conference at the little church in Kizungu, which is a suburb of Kampala, Uganda, the capital. We also spent a day with the pastor of the church that we were visiting and doing the ladies' conference at. We started by taking Pastor Godfrey and Evelyn, his wife, shopping at a department store and letting them purchase things for the church, for their home, and for the conference. Now at this point, Shay Gregory joined the team. Shay had been to Uganda with us on the first trip and was now working as a missionary in Sudan, and came over from there to Uganda to join the team for the conference. Together, we then spend several days just visiting people we had built a relationship with since starting our work in Uganda. Shay had established a group of young ladies that she and the home church were supporting and helping into careers there in Uganda. The following week, we began the women's conference at Pastor Godfrey's Kazugu Church, which lasted several days. And unfortunately at this point, Bobby Furlong had to fly home early due to a family emergency. The conference ended on a Sunday, wrapping up with me preaching at the Sunday morning service. We then spent a few days taking in the culture of Uganda by visiting the source of the Nile River and going to some cultural celebrations that were around town. We also got to spend a day at the home of Charles Lusinga and his family, getting to know them better. Charles had already become my liaison to Uganda, and our relationship would continue to grow to where Charles not only became my right-hand man, but the right-hand man for others on our team that will continue working in Uganda to this very day. We then completely switched focus and spent the next couple of days at Pastor Godfrey's school, which would become the start of my work in Uganda for years to come. The school was next to and served what was called the Soweto slums. This was in reference to the great slums in Soweto, South Africa. Of course, not as big as the actual Soweto slums, the conditions were so similar that it began to be referred to as such. The slums were filled with orphans and children of AIDS victims, and the school gave low-cost, if not free, education to many of the children from these slums. It was from this school that we would start the sponsorship foundation, but that will be covered in some future videos. We got to spend 2 days at the school, and as I mentioned before, it would be a life-changing start for me, Robert Ornstein, and Erica Burries. Robert would later teach at the school and literally spend the rest of his life there, even starting a family. Erica would later become an integral part of the Student Sponsorship Foundation, later taking it over, and is still involved with the students from those slums to this very day, even though they're now in their late teens and adults. Now, the foundation in Uganda is called Uganda Foundation, and if you're interested in finding out more, I will leave links to their website and social pages in the description below. To say we left Uganda changed people would be an understatement, but just about everyone that went on this trip stayed involved in Uganda in one way or another. Several would join me in forming a nonprofit foundation and sponsoring children there, and all but one would eventually return to Uganda. I went back just a few months later and would travel to Uganda over 20 times in the years to come. In my next video, I will cover my trips in 2008. Until then, thank you for watching, and please like this video and consider subscribing for more memories of Africa. Bye for now.